peeps, how are you all doing in our lovely lockdown? Today I am talking to you from my kitchen, my teeny tiny kitchen. I'll give you a very slight, quick tour of the kitchen. It won't take very long because this is a teeny tiny kitchen. It's over here. Well, as you can see, that is my my very glamorous oven that only the bottom of it works, so eventually we're going to have to get a new one. And then we've got the no, it's not looking at you, Athena, so my daughter's trying to be that's why we've got the trying to be cool. She's 14. You have to that's it. Yeah, so as I say, this is kind of spanning the sort of a 360 of the kitchen here, so I can just literally it's quite teeny tiny. Oh, there she is. It's where are we now? Oh yes, there we go. Look, I mean, just to see, you can basically see what we have as a very, very exciting kitchen. Not very exciting, although there is my bread maker in the corner and I'm hoping to make some bread. The only thing I'm really worried about, I've got the flour, which I've had for ages. The only thing I'm worried about is whether my yeast will be any good, because if it's not any good, I'm going to get crappy bread. So, but there we go. We'll have to check that out and see whether my yeast is going to work, because my local shop says he's run out of yeast because everybody's baking bread at home and going full on bakey here. So, yeah. I'm going to have to check that out. But for the time being, the bread maker's sort of a little hiatus until I've got the time to actually do it. I'm hoping I might get a little bit of time this week because my husband's not on nights this week, but he is on 12-hour shift, so unfortunately I'm still not going to see him. At least I'll see him in the evening. Anyway, what I was doing a video for today was to talk about supermarkets during the lockdown period. Yesterday I did my weekly shop and I did my list, and I was quite open-minded with my list. I basically listed everything that I needed and then sort of went with the idea of, well, it may not be there and I'll just have to make do with what there is. So I had to do a little bit of improvisation. I'm not doing a haul because I haven't got time to do hauls. not with these lot, not with my little one. So yeah, all that's put away and everything else. But what I did do is I went down with my son and my older son, and unfortunately, will you stop photobombing?
I'm not photobombing. It's like video bombing.
Video.
She's
trying to put me off. She's terrible.
No, I'm stealing the spotlight. It's a me thing.
It's a you thing, yeah, right. Anyway.
Hey, it makes change for my son, doesn't it?
Yeah, well. Why can't you do that in a more sort of suitable environment like a theatre, or not that you can do that at the moment because all theatres are shut, but you know what I mean.
Because I'd be told what I need to improve on and how I'm not doing anything right.
No, it's never that you're not doing anything right, but there's always room for improvement. You should never think. But
I know that. It's just usually people will be like, "You did it completely wrong."
Not necessarily. I think then you're not giving people credit. You should always try and take the positive stuff from everything. So
okay.
Right. Anyway, enough of the lecture. We're talking about how we got on yesterday in the supermarket. I did my weekly shop. And when we got down there, see, I always take one of my children with me. Normally, it's her.
Yeah.
Normally, it's
the past few weeks, it's been me.
Yeah.
Boy, has it been a nightmare.
Well, anyway, the reasons I have to take one of the children with me is because I've got a bad arm. I can't do a lot of heavy lifting with that arm. I have to be careful with it. So what happens is the children help me with the lifting and everything else, unless my husband's free, and then he goes shopping with me and he helps me with all that bit. But I've got, so either I have a husband with me or I have one of the children with me, and it's normally Madam here. But today, yesterday, it was the turn of my older son, and it didn't go too badly with him. Normally I've taken him in the past. He's been a bit crazy with the trolley, and I'm more panicked about, behave yourself, don't ram into that old lady. It's not a sports car, it's a trolley. He gets a bit carried away. But he was actually really sensible this time, so I'm hoping he's maturing a bit slightly. Anyway, I just put this in a bit more light. That's better, isn't it, hey? Yeah. And so we get there, and there's about 8 staff members sort of standing in like 2 meter gap line as you go into the supermarket. So we went on the bus because we don't have a car, so we've got no choice. We have to use public transport. So we were on the bus, and it's completely empty. So we're sitting there. We pay by, because you can pay by card now on the bus, which is brilliant, because it just means you zap your card and away you go, pay for the bus. Better than scrabbling around for change and everything else. Either that, or I use my app, because we've got First Bus where we are. I don't know about other bus companies, but First Bus have an app which you can actually sign up for, like all day tickets and group tickets and things like that, and then you have your little zapper thing on there and you put it on the bus and it zaps it. So yeah, we did that. We got to Tesco's. There's this like line of staff going hello, and then I get told, do you need to bring your child with you? Do you have anyone else who could look after him? And I'm like, hang on a minute. I said, my husband's doing nights. He's a key worker because he's working in the frozen food factory. So he's a key worker. He's asleep at the moment. My daughter's looking after my baby. I need someone to come shopping with me. Because I need help with my arm. And so he has to come with me. I have to have somebody with me. And they're just like, oh, all right. But it just, I mean, I know they have to do that. I know it's just a little bit, I just felt a bit tiring having to explain everything as to why I need to bring my son to the supermarket. And anyway, we get in there, and there's all these lines, all these 2 meter lines everywhere, and there's all these signs, keep to the 2 meter lines. You can have some gloves if you wish to, and there's people going around with gloves on, there's a couple of people going around with masks on and everything else. And we get to various different. There was no eggs at all, because we were at Tesco's. No eggs. There was no baked beans. There hasn't been baked beans for about 3 weeks. The last 2 weeks I've been there's been no eggs. And then we got. We're going round. There was no custard creams either. Normally we get a couple of packets of custard creams. There was no custard creams in my supermarket. But what there was toilet paper. So we managed to get 1 pack of toilet paper and a pack of 9, because a pack of 9 tends to last in this family just over a week. So I always try to be a week ahead, because we've already opened the next packet, so I'll buy the next one when we open the next packet. So that I've got a house full of children and everything else, and you kind of need to always be planning ahead a little bit. Always do plan ahead. So there was no baked beans, there was no spaghetti, there was no soup as such. Very, very little soup. But nothing that any of the kids liked. In fact, there was pretty much no tins. It was that bad. There was a little bit of kidney beans and some pulses and things like that in tins, which was quite handy. And there was some tuna when there wasn't tuna last week. So there were some things that were there that weren't there last week that were there this week. But there were things that I could have got last week that I couldn't get this week. But apart from that, it was okay up until we got to the what was it now? The biscuit aisle. As I said, we were just looking at, because there were cereal bars at the end. We were just looking at the cereal bars, and we heard all this shouting from the other end of the aisle. So there's all this shouting from the other end of the aisle. And it turns out there's I don't know whether he was autistic or he certainly was special needs anyway. He didn't appear to have any carer or support worker or anything, but he was shouting down the aisles, and he was sort of getting more and more closer to us. And he was, and my son was getting a bit scared, so I thought, well, I don't want to frighten him or anything, so I just thought, right, we'll put these in the basket and we'll just go round to the next aisle and perhaps we'll go back up the other way and have a look in a minute. And one of the staff sort of came over with their 2 meters apart, said, are you okay? We're fine, you know. But it just then went off to the till. Whether he was just scared of being close to people, so he was shouting, you know, it could be that. But I was just really surprised that he didn't have any sort of support worker, somebody there to support him. He obviously seemed quite distressed. Although he was doing his shopping and what have you, you know, he seemed quite distressed. It just seemed really sad that he didn't have anyone there to support him. But there we go, he didn't. So we got through, and then we had the fun of the checkout. And there was like several different staff that go, right, you have to stand in the box. So there was this box. And once you put your trolley in, there's not really very little space to actually manoeuvre around the trolley. And in the end, they said, you're probably better off moving the trolley rather than yourself. So we sort of had to negotiate. And then as soon as you emptied your trolley, you had to take your trolley all the way down to the next box and then start filling it up. And there was this line, and I kept going over the line by accident, going, sorry, you have to stay within the line, and everything. So it was like, I don't know, you know, this is the new normal, and we just got to live with it. But it was just such a crazy experience, you know.
Surreal.
It was surreal. It really was surreal. It's a very good word.
Apocalyptic.
I don't think it's quite apocalyptic yet, but it was just a real sort of, it was surreal. And then finally we got everything together and we got ready to go and book the taxi and everything. And the taxi guy arrived. He says, I'm really sorry, can you hold your hands out, please? And then we had to put this spray on, and of course I get dermatitis and I'm allergic to hand sanitizer. Especially the really, really bad alcohol ones. Even some of the ones that are not really, really bad, if they've got antibacterial in, also I have to be really, really careful with them, and I can only use certain brands. And in fact, lately I've just gone back to bar soap because it actually is safer for my hands. Which I have to be careful of washing up liquids. I have to be careful of anything that can get on my hands, because it can be, you know. So I've got all this alcohol spray, all sprayed on my hands, and I said, it's okay, I'm actually allergic to it, but it's okay, don't worry. He says, I didn't realise. It's fine. I'll get home and I'll clear it all off as soon as I get home. And of course my son's going that way as well, so I had to say to him, don't forget to wash it all off when you get home. But he wasn't as bad. But as soon as I got home, my hands started caking up and drying and everything else, so I was straight under the taps, with getting, you know, scrubbing it off with soap and with the soap that I've got and everything else. And it was, you know, after a couple of hours it was fine. But I had to be so careful because you know, yes, this alcoholic hand sanitizer is great when you're out and about, but I can't use it. So I tend to wash my hands before I come out, and then I'll wash my hands when I get back. Because that's, you know, if I use the hand sanitizer for a long period of time, that starts to break my skin open, and that can be quite painful. And you know, I've had it where I've had really, really bad dermatitis, so bad I couldn't touch anything. So I have to be really, really careful. But, you know, it's one of those things. This is the new normal we're living in at the moment. But unfortunately, I can't take bar soap with me everywhere and a sink. So I just had to put up with these little things until everything gets back to normal. If whatever normal will be post COVID, you know. But there we go. We're going to be fine. Everything should be all right. I admit I have felt a little bit scared this week, especially watching some of the stuff on the news and seeing the totals come up and seeing all the stuff that's going on, and it is starting to feel a little bit scary. And I'm just trying to keep positive for the kids and everything else, because I don't want to scare you guys, do I?
I'm already scared.
She won't leave the house. I'm trying to get these guys. I'm saying to them, they need to exercise once a day. You need to, go for a walk.
I'd love to go out and exercise, but one, I'm now scared of the police. which is probably a really bad thing. And 2, I'm scared for my own health.
Yeah, but Nina, the police are not going to tell you off for doing your once-a-day walk when you're with your parents, are they?
True.
Yeah, so that's
But
being
you never
silly.
know with the police.
And the other thing you're worried about, as long as you don't touch anything, or as soon as you get home, you wash your hands, you're going to be okay. But it will do you some good to get out in the fresh air and have a good walk once a day.
I already went outside today. I did the recycling.
Yes, you did do.
So,
yeah,
I count that as my daily
See,
exercise.
both my oldest and my youngest are asthmatics. So both of them are a little bit nervous, but they're not serious asthmatic. I mean, you used to be moderate asthmatic, didn't you? You were a lot better than you were. And so they're both sort of, they're on sort of lower level. And she's worried about...
Well, bear in mind, Alex has no idea what's going on.
No, he doesn't.
He can't really be scared if he has nothing going on.
No, he's not scared. He's bored. He's got cabin fever. He's desperate to go out and about and be in the fresh air. But because you lot won't go out, we want to try and have a family walk. And my husband's just come off nights this week, so he's too tired.
But last week I had really, really bad hay fever.
So I'm hoping that because hubby's on a day off tomorrow, we can actually have our walk, which we haven't had a walk for the best part of a week. And I've been saying to the kids, we need to go out for a walk. And they keep finding excuses, and then it doesn't happen. Because it's too late in the day and it's too dark.
I find 2 excuses either way.
Yeah.
I've got too much schoolwork.
But we're on British summertime now, so that means there's an extra hour of daylight in the evening.
So, by August, it'll be right until 9 o'clock and I won't be able to sleep. That's why I have blackout curtains.
Yes, I know that. Well, that's got nothing to do with you not wanting to go out on your daily walk, which you need your exercise. And Mummy definitely needs exercise, so...
Exercise can come in form of following what to do on the TV.
Yeah, but also the fresh air and...
The amount of times I've been jumping around this week.
Yeah, well, with Alex, yeah. Anyway, so that's how my little shopping trip went yesterday. And basically that's what we've been up to. Hopefully you're all keeping well and you are surviving this horrible... the horrible, surreal, apocalyptic situation that we're all in. And take care of yourselves. Be nice to each other. Try to, try to not to get too much cabin fever, and try to get your daily walk, because we're getting to the point where we really need it. Otherwise, we're just going to go absolutely balmy. But take care. Look after yourselves. Bye.